Yo, what is going on, everybody? I am your host, Slackerz Gaming, bringing you just a discussion video. So first and foremost, I want to say right off the top of the bat, right at the start of the video here, just for argument's sake, because there's been too much arguments, going back and forth between whether the leak is real or the Grinch leak, whether it's real or fake, and really, I mean, people can have their own opinions about whatever. Like, why do we have to be so, angry at somebody else for having their own opinions? Whatever. So, for argument's sake, let's just, put it aside and we'll just say the leak is real. I'm still 50-50 on it until Nintendo or Sakurai, they give us, some sort of conclusive evidence that says it's one way or the other. We're just going to say phone. All right, but we're just going to say that it's real and just look at this roster. And a simple question is, are you happy with this roster? So here's all the newcomers, unique and Echo Fighters alike that we've gotten for this game according to this leak, the Grinch leak, the mural and all that stuff. So of course, it started off, we got Inkling, we had Daisy, Ridley was a huge one, no pun intended, but then Simon and Richter, Dark Samus, Crom, King K Rool, another big one, again, no pun intended, Isabelle, and then here come the leaked characters, Mach Rider, Chorus Kids, Shadow, Ken, Isaac, Gino, and Banjo Kazooie. So let's just kind of talk about each of these characters a bit, so I guess I'm just going to kind of give my opinion. And up first is going to be Inkling. I'm going to try to go in order by that picture I just showed. So, Inkling. I mean, as an opinion of a character that I would love to see Inkling. Well, of course I'm going to love to see Inkling. But before Smash Ultimate was a thing, Inkling was definitely a character that I had towards the top of the list of expected characters and characters that I wanted. So, of course, this inclusion is, very well earned and deserved in my opinion. Especially Splatoon is a series for Nintendo, has just been blowing up and just killing it in sales, and it's becoming a pretty big IP for Nintendo. So having Inkling, kind of that face of the franchise, just finally being represented in Smash, plus doing very well on the Smash ballot, it's just it was definitely time, and it happened. Extremely glad. There's no negative, nothing bad to say about Inkling. Well deserved in my opinion. So that means up next we have Daisy. Now, I don't have anything against Daisy, personally, because, okay, so if a Mario character were to get in, you guys probably know my opinion on which Mario character I would like, not Daisy, but yes, he's an assist trophy, whatever, it's all good, but as Daisy, again, it's a character that I have no arguments for. Peach as a character, because obviously that's who Daisy's echoing is. It makes sense, but Peach as a character is not a character I typically play as. I think, let me see. Yeah, Peach is kind of in like the bottom 10% of characters that I play as ever. So just having Peach 1.5, really, it that doesn't do anything for me. But I'm not knocking the character at all. From the Mario universe, we already knew, or we pretty much thought that Mario would get a new newcomer in this game, and well, it happens to be Daisy, and I'm fine with it. It's another character on the roster, buffs up the roster a bit, and I'm all for doing that for Smash Ultimate. But personally, she doesn't do anything for me. It's not a character that I'm even looking forward to trying to play as. But just kind of moving on here. We have Ridley. Finally, he made it in. Of course, he was the meme for the longest time. He's too big to get in. Sakurai has tried to make him work in the past, but couldn't quite get him to fit. But ultimately, Sakurai finally just like, you know what? Here, this is what I came up with. This is how I think he would work. And we finally got him. The huge reveal at E3. He was still back at E3, let's be honest. People were saying Ridley, it was like 50-50. Yeah, Ridley's guaranteed to be in, and you still had the other half that, no, Ridley will never happen. Well, we got surprised. I'm absolutely happy, super stoked about this. I could see Ridley potentially being like a top 10 character for me, personal use wise. He's just a character I've wanted for the past, 3 games now, and he finally gets in. Same as K Rool, but I'll get to that once K Rool pops up. So, I mean, Ridley, I think, absolutely earned and deserves his spot on the list. I mean, what more can I say? Just a character I'm extremely happy with. I'm just happy. That's how I'm gonna put it. I'm very happy Ridley's finally in the game. I get to play as Ridley. I know a lot of people are looking forward to it. I know a ton of people, the demo at E3 and demos at the Best Buys and all that kind of stuff. Tons of people were picking up Ridley just to try him out, see how he worked. People were excited and hyped for Ridley finally getting in the game. So yeah, very cool moment. Very cool character to finally get in the roster. And up next we have Simon Belmont from the Castlevania series. Now, kind of going to, just the third party route here. Simon was never a character that I took too seriously, in terms of wanting. I know he's definitely an iconic character. I'm not saying anything bad about it. I'm actually kind of stoked. The more I kind of watched his reveal trailer and kind of the way he plays, I'm more excited to try out Simon and just see how it works, But as in terms of like third-party characters and, iconic stature, absolutely fits that bill. No questions about it. I'm happy. I think, a lot of people are starting to kind of jump on the Richter bandwagon, which is interesting because, okay, I'll get to Richter in a second. But in terms of Simon, I think, in terms of just how third parties in Smash Bros. Are supposed to kind of be that iconic stature, Simon has that nailed down. No arguments here. Who is, as we know, the Echo Fighter of Simon Belmont? Or is it the other way around? How did how did Sakurai kind of word that? Like who's really echoing who here in this case? But, I've never been big into the Castlevania series, so when Richter popped up and, showed that he was in the game, I legit had like a double take and went, who is this? I did not know who Richter was. But I guess, a lot of people, just from reactions that I've seen and couple people I've talked to about it, they've kind of been the same way. They're like, who was Richter? But, just kind of the same thing as Simon because, that's his moveset. Or it's Richter's Simon's moveset. However you want to see that. I guess I don't have I'm not against it, especially if it kind of, there was that, I don't know, an argument or that kind of point or somebody's trying to say if we indeed got Snake back, the only way to do that was to take Simon and Richter. If that's how to get Snake back, I'm fine. That that's cool. I don't have an argument with that. Snake is, well, we already know Snake is super iconic and one of the better playable characters. If you really know how to play as him, definitely kind of one of the top tier characters, I'd say, at least back in Brawl. But yeah, so I don't really have much to say about Richter other than I'm fine with it. Now moving on to a couple Echo Fighters that were announced in the same day as Simon and Richter. First up, we have Dark Samus. Now, Dark Samus was an assist trophy. Just in terms of, I guess, I'll put it like this. Metroid as a series definitely deserved more reps. I know before Metroid Prime 4 and Samus Returns were even announced, Metroid needed a new game, and Nintendo finally listened to us. So thank you for that, Nintendo. We do appreciate that. We got 2 Metroid games out of it. We ended up getting, we already seen Ridley, and of course we know Dark Samus. I think Dark Samus is just, very cool looking. I think it's going to be a pretty unique, I guess not really unique, but just a great addition in terms of an Echo Fighter because, well, personally, Samus is one of my more played characters. Definitely a top 5 character for me that I play as. And, just having a slightly different version of that, I'm all for it. I'm willing to try it out, especially, like I said, Dark Samus was an assist trophy, kind of got that upgraded to playable status. According to Sakurai, Dark Samus and Chrom, who's the next character I'm going to talk about, were indeed, some of the more popular characters. So easy to just kind of bring them into the roster as Echo Fighters. No arguments here. Now, of course, like I just said, Chrom's up next, and here he is. So, Chrom was kind of that joke back in Wii U and 3DS where he didn't get his, it wasn't his day, and maybe he'll get a shot another time. Well, Ultimate is his time, I guess. Now, you can make the argument Fire Emblem still has way too many characters. Yeah, maybe to a certain degree. Maybe they should have saved that spot for a villain kind of character, such as Black Knight, who could have been the Echo Fighter of Ike, or they could have saved a Fire Emblem spot for, DLC from the Three Houses. I still think that's a pretty good likelihood that that'll happen anyway. But, in terms of Chrom, I like Roy's playstyle, so I'm not, I don't have too much to say about Chrom, honestly. I'll welcome him to the roster. No problem. People know the name, so yeah, I really don't have much to say about Chrom. I'll welcome him. No, nothing bad to say here. And now the character that has been revealed so far that I think I'm the most excited to play as, besides the rumored ones. But King K Rool finally made it in, and then finally watching his reveal trailer. I always say this. I think King K Rool's reveal trailer is my favorite from any Smash game ever. It was just hands down. I was blown away. We had the little trickery, the little troll there when King DDD, took off the costume and started laughing at everybody. And doesn't Sakurai voice King DDD? So was Sakurai kind of laughing at us right there? I don't know, but King K Rool finally made it in. One of my top 3 wanted characters for the past 3 games. Yes, 3 games I've wanted K Rool since the beginning. But he finally made it in. His moveset just fits him perfectly. I'm so excited to try out this character. Looks great. What does he have? He's got a counter. He's got the crown toss. I'm just so excited to play as King K Rool, honestly. King K Rool could probably be a top 3 character in terms of playability or play style wise, or not play style, but just play time wise for me. I'm so excited. Finally in. Just super hyped. So, yeah, let's move on to the next character, Isabelle, who, well, some people said she kind of killed the hype, but I mean, we all eventually knew Isabelle was probably going to be revealed as a fighter. Most of us expected her to be an Echo Fighter. Well, it turns out she's not. She's her own unique playstyle. She has her own unique playstyle. So, in terms of Animal Crossing getting another rep, no arguments for that. Animal Crossing is one of Nintendo's bigger franchises. So having that additional rep, no problem. At first, when Villager, for Wii U and 3DS got announced, I was not happy about that at all. I was legit like, really, this guy got in? But then I started playing as Villager, and I was like, you know what? I love Villager. This is cool. And I think Isabelle could kind of be the same way for me. She was just a character that was like, whatever. But once I get a chance to play as her and kind of see how her playstyle works, I think my opinion could definitely change in a positive way. So looking forward to at least seeing how Isabelle plays for me. But now we get to move on to the rumored characters. And first up, we will start with Mach Rider. Now, Mach Rider would essentially be the retro pick of the game, and I have no problem with this at all. Mach Rider, I think, was actually considered for, I want to say Melee, was it? So Sakurai is definitely considered the character in the past, but I don't think he could quite figure out a moveset per se. I think Sakurai actually wanted to include Mach Rider because, I could be wrong about this, but didn't Sakurai think the name was funny for Mach Rider, and that's the only reason he really thought about including the character? Now, Mach Rider's a female. This was actually news to me. I thought there was 2 versions of Mach Rider. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Mach Rider is a female. If it is, cool. I'm down for it. But one thing they should do for the reveal trailer of Mach Rider, at the end of the trailer, just have Mach Rider take off the helmet. Just take off the helmet. A lot of people would be surprised, I bet. They'll look at Mach Rider. I think a lot of people just look at the character and go, that's a male. But kind of the same way with Samus, you're like, that's a dude. And then, you find out it's a female, and you're like, whoa, what? That's absolutely crazy. So they should do something like that at the end of Mach Rider's reveal trailer. Again, arguments aside, we're just saying the Grinch leak is real, just for the sake of this video. So at the end of Mach Rider's reveal, take the helmet off and just kind of give the fans maybe a little bit of a surprise. Would be pretty cool to see, I think. Which now brings us to Chorus Kids, who is... Okay, I'm not a fan of Rhythm Heaven, the franchise at all, but in terms of trying out a new character who could have a pretty cool playstyle, in my opinion, I'm all for this one. We already know that Chorus Kids or Rhythm Heaven had I guess they were kind of cut in Wii U and 3DS, I guess due to development time or something. I don't know the whole story. But so they were, I guess, planned at one point, then they didn't happen, and now I guess maybe Sakurai and his team are just reusing those assets, and we're getting Chorus Kids. So in terms of just a new franchise for, Smash Bros., I'm fine for it. Introduce us to more franchises, and I think that helps, Nintendo overall. Put some maybe smaller franchises into the game with some characters, and if some people start to really like those characters, it could help out that character's franchise, in terms of sales and, just popularity. So I'm all for Chorus Kids. Not really a character that I'm like, yeah, I really want, but I'm fine with this one. I am fine with this one. And now that brings us to, I think, the first of the last two Echo Fighters for third parties, which, we're presuming they're Echo Fighters, which is Shadow the Hedgehog, of course, of Sonic. Shadow's always been a really cool character, the Edgehog, all that stuff. But in terms of, for me, am I happy to see him? Yeah. He's a big character, big name character. Would I prefer somebody else from the Sonic series? I'd probably prefer Tails, honestly, before anybody else for the Sonic series to get a second rep. But I guess going Echo Fighter route makes more sense. You definitely have to incorporate his teleport instead of the Sonic's spring jump, for his up B. Definitely got to switch that around. But I'm fine with Shadow. He's not a character that I was like, yes, I absolutely need him. But I'm still rooting for him. So Shadow, definitely a welcome addition to the roster. And I guess up next brings us to Ken, who's probably, I guess, the only character we can say, or I think the community can kind of vote on and, say is a lock for the roster. We've had Vergaben and all sorts of other leakers, say Ken is in, and then this picture popped up of Ken on the stage. So, and there's like a debug menu, so that's why I explained some other inconsistencies, perhaps. But it's pretty cool. Again, Ken is to me, Ken is a bland character. I have Ryu, good enough. If you're gonna pick somebody else from Street Fighter to be in, how about we go with Chun-Li, or because Chun-Li seems to be kind of the way Street Fighter's kind of pushing the character. She's kind of being like the 1-2 face, with Ryu up there. So I'd prefer a different character from Street Fighter, but Ken makes absolute sense for Echo Fighters because, he's the living embodiment of the term Echo Fighter. So, I mean, I'm okay with it, but he's not a character that I look at and go, yes, I have to play as. He's going to kind of be a character that I might pick up and play as like once in a blue moon, but Ken's just not exciting to me. And now, in my opinion, the final three characters, the most exciting characters on this list. First up, we have Isaac, finally from Golden Sun. Was cut as an assist trophy. Was an assist trophy in Brawl. Got cut in the Wii U 3DS. Just removed for who knows what reason. At first it was speculated, hey, he's going to be, get a promotion to playable character. Nope, just completely gone. But then the Smash ballot came out, and Isaac was a top 10, top 5 vote getter in regions. Absolutely wanted. Sure, some people say, he's irrelevant and his series is dead. Irrelevant, I don't think means much anymore. I mean, to me, if a fan base wants a character and they're very vocal and they show their support like they did in terms of the Smash ballot, he's not really irrelevant then, is he? So I'd like to point that out when I talk about irrelevancy and that kind of stuff. But Isaac, our golden boy, according to this Grinch leak, is finally in. One of my top 5 wanted characters for the past 2 games. And I'm finally, according to this, we're finally getting them. So I'm super excited. I think, the upcoming week, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, I actually will have a moveset, another custom moveset video, and I think it's going to be Isaac. So, I don't know. He's got so much potential for moveset. He's not just another anime swordsman. No, he's definitely unique. Once you actually, learn about the character, you will see there's so much potential in terms of moveset and personality and just awesomeness for this character. So, I would be super excited for this character. And of course, that brings us to Gino, wanted by the community for so long. Sakurai's wanted him. We got the Mii outfit, which was cool, but it wasn't what we actually wanted. And we could maybe say that's, because Square doesn't want to actually lend out the character because there's no benefit for them. Besides, I guess, getting money for the rights to the character. Because they're not going to use Gino in anything. They don't have plans to. But in terms of huge characters in the Smash community that's talked about, Gino is always at the top of that list. Very wanted. I think he deserves it at this point. Just in terms of the hype he would create. Just think about the announcement. The reveal trailer. Gino finally, gets revealed. The fan base would absolutely freak out in a good way. And he's one of my characters. Again, same as Isaac, he's been a top 5 character that I've wanted for the past couple games now. And if this leak is true, he's finally in. And I think, finally, well deserved, in my opinion. I would be super, super happy, so stoked about this. But yeah, that's just my opinion. But we got one character left. And that's Banjo Kazooie. Alright, so now we know he was definitely voted pretty highly on in the Smash ballot. Phil Spencer from Microsoft has said he's willing to work with Nintendo on Banjo Kazooie, putting him into the game. Nintendo and Microsoft have worked together in the past from IPs from, the Rare back in the day. So Banjo fits perfectly into the roster. When I look at the roster and I look at third parties, you got to be iconic. Banjo is, but you also have to kind of fit the feel that Smash Bros has. There's only a couple characters that I think don't essentially fit the feel. I don't really think Snake's playstyle, or not his playstyle, but just Snake and Bayonetta, they just don't seem to gel with how Smash Bros is. I mean, you look at third party characters, Sonic, Mega Man, Pac-Man, now potentially Banjo. They just they fit. They just make sense. And, Bomberman would have made sense too. There's a lot of third-party characters that are just kind of like that right kind of mix, and they got that vibe that just fits Smash Bros. I'm not saying anything bad about Snake or Bayonetta, because I'm fine with both of them in the roster, but they just don't have the Smash Bros. Nintendo-ish kind of feel to them. But I guess that's what makes them unique as well. But in terms of Banjo finally being in, thank you. If this is real, just the community, the internet is going to explode if this is indeed, say, the very last reveal, that last hype reveal to get everybody, just so stoked on the game right before, it launches. Just helps push sales. It helps Microsoft. Maybe they start doing more stuff with Banjo themselves as a series. Because, hey, Banjo deserves it. Banjo just has a rich history and has the passionate fan base behind him to continue going forward. Don't do anything nuts and bolts wise. Just go back to original Banjo Kazooie, I would love to see this. Fans would love to see this. So the only thing I have to ask is, are you happy with this roster? This is the newcomers, Unique and Echo Fighters. This is what we're looking at, for argument's sake again. This is what we're looking at for character-wise. Me, I'm no arguments. I'm so happy about this. There's a couple characters, but there always are those few characters that get revealed that you're just like, meh, it doesn't do anything for me. But in terms of overall what I'm seeing, I'm very happy to see Inkling, Ridley, Simon is growing on me, Dark Samus, King K Rool. I think Mach Rider could be pretty unique, and I'm interested to kind of see the playstyle for Mach Rider and Chorus Kids. And then, of course, Isaac, Gino, and Banjo. So hyped. So, it's like a great present for the Smash community. It's a great present for video game fans, This is I think this is near perfect roster. There's still a couple characters that I would love to see. Waluigi. But Bandana Waddle Dee, Skull Kid, they come to mind. There's a couple of characters that I'm still like, I would love to see them, but that's what we have DLC for. And I'll make another video on that soon about potential, I guess, front runners for DLC. But are you guys happy if this is indeed the final roster? Are you happy? I know there's no new Pokemon rep. Maybe there is. Who knows? But are you guys happy? I thoroughly enjoyed this roster, and I would be so ecstatic if this is indeed the final roster, base roster, that is. But yeah, that is going to be it for this one. So basically just kind of going over all the characters, and Are you happy with this roster? That's what this boils down to. And I think majority of us will say yes. We got characters we really want. Some characters we were just kind of meh on. But if this is the roster, I'm happy. I love this. This would be great. So, yeah, I guess that's going to be it for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed as usual. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. And, yeah, that's going to be it. So, hopefully we catch you guys on the next upload. Peace out, everybody.